This Konica lens was made in Japan between 1975 and 1981. When it was introduced on the market, it had the reputation of being the fastest full-frame fisheye at this focal length. Along the built-in lens hood, you can see the letters UC marked in red, which was short for Ultra Compact, Ultra Close-Up, Ultra Coating. Konica made only 3 primes and 2 zooms under the UC lens line. This lens gives you an incredibly large 180-degree field of view, and it's not a normal fisheye but a full-frame fisheye, which means that the circular image that the lens produces fills up the entire 36 by 24mm frame, even though it still shows the distorted semi-fisheye effect. The optical design of this lens consists of 10 elements in 7 groups. Aperture ranges from f2.8 to f16 with click stops in between. The diaphragm is made of 6 rounded aperture blades. This lens cannot accept filters because of its bulging front element. Instead, Konica included 4 built-in filters: Sky, Red 60, Yellow 52, and Blue 8. Switching from one filter to another is done with the help of this little lever on the side. Once you pull it up, you can then rotate the dial until you reach the filter that best suits your needs. Only the filter that lines up with the white line will be the one in use. On the back, this lens has Konica AR mount. I use a cheap AR to Sony E adapter in order to use this lens on my Sony camera. This lens comes in at 392 grams. Minimum focusing distance from your subject to your film plane or sensor is only 15 centimeters. The Konica 15mm full-frame fisheye is one super unusual lens. The 180-degree angle of view definitely takes some time getting used to because our eyes are not accustomed to gathering so much information. And this can make framing and composition a lot more challenging than any other lens you've used. On top of that, you have field curvature to consider due to the fisheye effect, which can warp your subject in a grotesque way if you're not careful. However, there are a lot of great features that this lens possesses, but the most fascinating one is its minimum focusing distance. The fact that the designers at Konica were able to make a 15mm fisheye that can focus down to 15 centimeters back in 1975 speaks very highly of its superb engineering. Such a short minimum focusing distance from a fisheye lens was unheard of at the time. And on top of that, they made it with a fast maximum aperture of f2.8, which also beat the competition for a fisheye in the 70s. So at the end of the day, this is a fast fisheye lens that can also be used for super wide angle macro work. And being a Konica lens, it renders colors beautifully with great saturation and contrast. Its build quality is also superb. Since this lens was part of Konica's professional UC lens line, it was built to extremely high standards of manufacturing, and it's an absolute joy to use. Sharpness in the field of focus is also excellent. Even wide open, this lens performs very well. Here is a 100% crop of the previous image. As you can see, details are well preserved and even the bokeh is quite pleasing. When stopped down, this lens becomes truly fantastic and it can produce some excellent images with very unusual perspective. If you're curious about the built-in filters, they were meant to be used with black and white film, but they can be fun to use on digital as well. Here's how they look. First we have Red 60, which is pretty wild. Then we have Yellow 52, which can be nice in certain situations. And last but not least is Blue 8, which is quite unobtrusive and can be used for some shots. All other shots that you've seen so far were taken with the built-in Sky filter. I realize that this lens is not for everyday shooting, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to someone who is just starting in photography, but if you have patience and want some unusual perspectives in your shots, this lens is a lot of fun. I absolutely love it, and I'm always excited to see how it perceives the world around me. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time here at Vintage Optics.